Well, I'm Renee. I'm in Montreal, well, near Montreal right now. It's still winter, although we're supposed to be close to summer. Anyway, I'm making a little video because I'm going to settle a problem that a lot of you guys have, and there seems to be no information on the internet about this, and it is so common that I don't understand why there are no videos about this. So it's all about hatches on kayaks. I found this kayak, and it's a 17-foot mid-volume kayak, and I only paid $100 because there are no hatches. And hatches, I looked online, and they're all about $100 to $200, unless they are specific sizes. Um, I tried using neoprene and a cord, elastic cord. It didn't work in my case because the hatch on this thing is too shallow, so I can't really grip really well. And it's not the best solution. So I figured a way to make hatches with epoxy and fiberglass. Obviously, the best method would be to mold it and do a zero pressure casing, and like have infusion of epoxy and all that. Most people will not be able to do that without buying a pump, and it's too much knowledge. So I found an easy way to do it, and I'm going to show you most of the steps, and anyone who wants to make a hatch is going to be able to, at least you'll have my solution. So here we go. Since we are not going to use the negative pressure infusion, epoxy infusion method, which would be the professional method used for people who mold car parts, for example, we're going to go for the easy way. So what I did is I put wax paper on a straight edge, my table, and I put circles of this material, very cheap but very thick fiberglass. I used that fiberglass because that's what I had on hand. So I put epoxy directly on the paper. Then I put 2 layers of this thick fiberglass. Afterwards, I put a piece of another piece of paper, wax paper, on top. I put a piece of plywood that was around there, and about 50 pounds of pressures were allowed. So it's like a cake of epoxy and fiberglass, which is this thing now. So what I'm going to do now, I made it a little larger. I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to go around and make it somewhat round. I gave myself half an inch, and I did it before on the back hatch, which had a much more complicated structure. So anyway, let me cut this thing round. Obviously, if you have to cut right through the actual fiberglass, you'll need a hacksaw, not scissors. To make the sides of the cover, you'll need to create a long strip of, in my case, 3/4 inch wide strip of fiberglass that I will put around my round shape to put, it's going to create my lid. To create this is more difficult than it appears. What I did is I took a piece of sacrificial wood, 1x3 in my case, this is 1x4. I wrapped it in wax paper. Then I put epoxy. I put a few layers of, 2 layers of very thick fiberglass. Then I put another layer of waxed paper, and I put another piece of wood on top of that. So now I had a sandwich of wood with epoxied fiberglass in the middle. And I sacrificed the wood afterwards. I passed it on a bench saw to create my 3/4 inch strips. This is the most difficult part of the project. Is you need to get some way. You need to find a way to create a strip of a 3/4 inch. You'll see once you have this, it's very easy to assemble the two with duct tape. Well, the next step involves duct tape. You can use gray duct tape, or even better, you could use leopard pattern duct tape. Doesn't matter what duct tape you use, or you could probably use painter's tape. The problem with painter's tape is probably not strong enough. I find I have better luck with this. So you cut duct tape, and this is the side I want to have on top, on the bottom. So this is what I'm going to do. And go. Oh. So you can start anywhere. So you can see why you don't want to use painter's tape. This stuff is really stiff, doesn't like to bend, and well, so duct tape it is, definitely duct tape. I'll be using 5-minute epoxy. Only the best dollar store stuff. Very important. So the walls of this thing, they can hold by themselves right now. But if you step on it or something, it's going to come apart. So what I'll do is I'll reinforce the interior. This is going to be a very dirty job. It's not going to be pretty, but you won't see it once the cap is on the kayak. And I'll also put some neoprene inside, so everything's going to be hidden. So, you know, doesn't look very pretty, but it's going to work. Yeah, finger painting. This is the final product. You can see it does a curve, and this is super solid now, super solid. Can't be broken. Doesn't look great, but we're putting neoprene here. I cut an old piece of an old wetsuit, and I made those pieces, so I'm going to put them gray facing up so that it's easier to find in the water if I ever drop it. So that's going to be in there like this. This is the final product. I painted it black, and it does quite a nice job. I tried it in the St. Lawrence lately, and it does float, and it's stiff as hell. So if I ever capsize, this rim will pressure the neoprene, and no water should come in. I haven't experienced a like a hard bailout in the surf yet, but I'm confident this is going to do just as well as a plastic hatch, at least. So yeah, I'll put the black neoprene on that side this time because I thought this was nicer. By the way, this is the 2nd of June and it is now snowing. We had 40 Celsius a few days ago. It is now snowing. All is normal.